Hey everybody! Welcome to the Turtle and the Bear podcast. I'm Turtle.
And I'm Bear, and this is episode 1 of very many that we're going to be talking about. We are talking about how we met today.
Yes, we are.
And growing up together and how we became mid-20s besties.
Yay. So, I was 9
and I was 10. There's a
Yeah.
1-year gap between us.
Yeah.
Well, basically 1 year.
Basically 1 year. We met at the playground
Behind my dad's.
Your dad's house.
You were with your dad.
I was with my dad.
playing on the monkey bars.
And
I came up to you and commented that I liked your shirt because it was Pokemon. And I only have brothers, so I liked Pokemon, but not a lot of my friends that are girls liked it because back then that's not a thing. Like, So I was very excited to find another girl wearing Pokemon shirt.
Yeah, and I got into Pokemon because I had a lot of male cousins that liked Pokemon and played Pokemon on the DS. So that's how I got into it, and that's I don't remember that's why you started talking to me though.
That's what I remember about why I talked to you is I loved the shirt you were wearing. And then we really quickly became friends because we realized we were a 6-minute walk away from each other.
Yeah, we had quite a lot in common.
Yeah, we went and ended up finding out we went to the same church.
Yeah, both of our parents were divorced.
Yeah, it was nice to have another person who understood that.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't as common when
I was going to say it's become very common to have split parents now,
which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. But back then in the early 2000s, 2010s, it wasn't quite as common. But we started really hanging out at your dad's house.
I remember every time I went over to my dad's house, or almost every time, I'd go, Dad, can Bear come over? Can Bear come over and play? Or you would call me.
You would always call when it was supper.
I don't know how I did it.
Every single time. And it was so funny. And my stepmom hated it.
I called after we were done with supper.
Yeah.
So I thought you were done with supper.
Normal people would be, but
yeah, I remember we would have sleepovers, and there was this playhouse in the front yard.
Yes.
And it was kind of just like a box
of plywood. Like it was just 4 walls of plywood and a roof.
It had a little door. Well, it didn't actually have a door. It was just an opening.
There was no door.
Actually, there was a door at one point.
Was there? I don't ever remember.
My dad removed it. And there was little windows, and then there was ladders to get up through. Like there was these little holes in the ceiling to put the ladders into, and then climb up. But then my dad took the ladders away because it wasn't safe.
So we became monkeys and climbed through on top of the windows and climbed on top of the house.
Yeah, but he also put a big sheet of plywood on the top so we couldn't get up through, and so we wouldn't hurt ourselves too. I remember we would sit on the top. We would bring an extension cord out and my old CD player, and then we would put it up there and we would listen to whatever was on the radio, ABBA, or whatever CDs.
Shania Twain.
Oh, yes.
And then I remember you had strawberries right in front of the windowsills, and it was really cute. Very cutesy.
Yeah, we had a lot of strawberries growing up. We don't have as many now, but we used to have
strawberries have always been a thing that I associate you with.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Strawberries and turtles.
I love turtles.
I like turtles. I remember going to your mom's house and playing in the tree in the front yard,
yeah,
like
we
the not the garage. Do you remember the one day we were out later in the evening, like it was winter or early winter?
Yeah.
And it hadn't quite snowed yet, so we were up in the tree. Someone came by and was like, "You guys, get out of the tree!" And we just stopped moving, acting like we weren't there. we just like, if
my mind is a little foggy on that, but it sounds like something that would happen.
It was very scary because I was like, what do we do? We just sat there. I think it was like 20 minutes we sat out there.
I think I might have yelled back at one point, "This is my house."
Yeah, you did.
I think,
yes, I remember.
I yelled,
I remember.
"This is my house.
Yeah,
I can be in this tree."
But I remember someone just like coming over and like yelling at us to get out of the tree, and I'm like, we're not doing anything wrong. Like,
we were literally just sitting there.
I'm pretty sure we were like pretending to be birds at that point. Honestly. It was very scary for like preteens.
Well, to be yelled at all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember we set up this kind of campsite in the backyard at my mom's house. And it was so pretty, and we were gonna sleep in the little tent, but then it got cold. So we went inside, and my mom says, I knew you were gonna come inside.
Gee, it's like she knows her daughter. Yeah. But we would spend so much time together.
Sometimes we would stay over for a week at a time.
Yeah, especially spring break. But then we would get like by the end of that week, we would get sick of each other.
I think you would also stay over sometimes during like summer break or even winter.
Anything for my parents to get me out of the house because I was a problem child.
Yeah, but I remember you stayed over this one time, and we had this old chair.
The Papsan?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
I think so. And we took the cushion off, and it was on the floor in my room.
It's like a doggy bed for a kid.
Kind of. It was a really thick
It was comfortable. Don't get me wrong. It was a comfy bed.
It was a really thick cushion.
It was like a dog bed for a kid. It was awesome.
And you had, I think you put like a barricade of like blankets or pillows around you. And
I woke millions of stuffies.
And I woke up in the middle of the night, and you were stretched out, and you were inching yourself around the bed like a clock hand. And I'm just sitting there watching you, and I tried waking you up, but
I was a heavy sleeper.
Yeah, when she's asleep, she's that.
I fell off your bunk bed in the middle of the night and
at my dad's,
and didn't wake up.
You were on the bottom bunk, but still.
Like, jeez.
My dad walked into the room, and he looks at Bear on the floor, and he's
can't
like,
pick her up. She's breathing, right?
Yeah. He's like, is she okay? And I said, yeah, I can't wake her up though. She's really deep asleep. So we kind of just left her on the floor.
Well, I'm the middle child, so like my little brother at that point, I've been used to like sleeping heavily.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm a very light sleeper.
I am too now, unless I sleep because I sleep with my headphones in. Because I need something to fall asleep to. Mm-hmm. But if I don't have those in, I am a very light sleeper.
I'm a light sleeper unless I'm extremely exhausted.
Or in the middle of your REM cycle.
Yeah.
And you get woken up and you're like,
oh, my husband has done that multiple times.
It's like she's resurrected from the dead.
Like, he woke, I think it was just last week, he woke me up to tell me that he's leaving and he's late for work.
And then leaves.
And I woke up and it was like, and I'm like, why?
6:30 in the morning.
And I remember asking him, why?
I would have killed my man. Wake me up for no freaking reason.
Yeah, unless you're dying.
Yep.
Or there's a fire. Please don't wake me up at 6:30 in the morning.
My rule used to be if you wake me up before noon, you better have caffeine with you. But that's what I used to... I mean, I still stay up until pretty late, but I used to stay up till like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and then I'd go to bed. So if you woke me up before noon, hell better have been freezing over.
Yeah.
And my family knew that. But getting a dog definitely changed that because you
yeah,
have to let them out early.
They can't, they're not like humans. Mm-hmm. They can't go to the bathroom in the house.
Then I moved across the country when I was 14, turning 15-ish. And we kind of drifted apart. I came back the first year after I moved for a vacation to see my family. And I surprised you at the camp you were at.
Yeah.
And I made you cry.
I was so happy to see you.
We both hugged each other on the bleachers. Yeah. I got to see you doing the little rodeo because it was a horse camp. So I got to watch you do the rodeo. It was like a proud mama bear moment. But then I went home with you and your mom in the truck. And your mom almost got in a car accident because we were listening to, I don't know what song it was, but we were listening to music loud. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't paying attention to driving, I guess. She was watching us. and she almost rear-ended somebody,
Oh,
had to
no.
swerve off the road, and she looked back at us and like yelled at us, "This is why we don't listen to music this loud." And I'm like,
She blares Cher and the Bee Gees
yeah.
in the car.
Well, yeah, I was like, it made for a very awkward rest of the ride.
But I guess she was just watching us have fun.
I get that. But yeah, she's like, this is why we don't listen to music this loud.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the last thing I remember. And then we kind of fell off of communication because it was in that era where texting cost money.
Yeah.
And phone calls, long distance, were an arm and a leg. So
Very
we kind of just stopped because you didn't have social media because your family didn't allow it. I did, but I didn't really use it.
Yeah.
So we kind of just stopped talking. So what happened with you during that?
Well, I was at school, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, we both went to school. Graduated.
I had one boyfriend in high school just for, I think, almost 5 months, which for a high school relationship is okay, with exceptions. But he was in a grade up.
For our listeners, I am with my high school sweetheart. That's why I'm saying hey.
There are exceptions, but I'm saying for
a normal high school relationship, yeah, 5 months is like a decade for people.
And I almost dated this one other guy, but then didn't.
Did you end up dating the pen pal guy, technically?
No, I didn't.
That wasn't a dating thing? No, that was just pen pals?
We were basically dating because once we had texts, like once we had phones and we were texting every day.
Texting or texting?
No, we were 13, 14. Oh my goodness.
Kids nowadays likely do that. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, no, it was just good morning.
My innocent little turtle.
And then like, oh, good night. And, like,
yeah.
So we're practically dating, kind of, but it wasn't
like official.
It wasn't official. Oh, and then he kind of, I think his family was having issues or something, and he felt like he needed to retreat from friendships. So then he
closed himself off from the world.
Closed himself off.
I get that.
And I didn't. He just stopped talking to me, and it was kind of hurtful because I went from 1 second
being basically best friends,
and then another, like literally the next day, nothing.
So speaking of like hurting you, did me moving away hurt you?
I was really sad.
I was very sad because I did cut off a lot of my friendships that were toxic, and my dad got mad at me saying like, hey, I see what you're doing, you're just making it easier to move away. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. This is toxic friendships. I don't want to be in them. I do that to this day.
I know you do.
And there are 2 friendships that I kept that I do still kind of talk to. The one, she lives in Wales now, actually. But she lived right around the corner from my grandparents' house, who also basically helped raise me. So I was either at my grandparents' or my dad's. I had you at my dad's, and I had this girl at my grandparents'. Yeah. I talk to you guys still. I don't care about any of the other friendships, honestly. But as for me, I had one quote unquote boyfriend. I don't count it as a boyfriend because it was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So I don't really view it because it was like holding hands and like a little peck here and there. We got in trouble for kissing in the schoolyard. We got sent to the principal's office. And I'm like, we're in grade 8. For your reference, we're grade 8. So like 14, 15.
Okay.
Teenagers. Not like we're in grade 3 kissing each other. Like, I did that, but come on. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I told my mom about it, and she's like, yeah, just don't do it again. I don't care that you're doing it. Just don't do it at school. But I ended up breaking up with that guy because I just went shopping with my mom the day before for a mental health day because my mom was awesome like that. And I come to school in this gorgeous fuchsia, like it was almost satin but stretchy, and it had crystals all along the neck area, and it was a tank top, and I wore it so happy about it, so proud. This mofo, premature annoying little puke face poured pop down the back of my brand new shirt.
Oh.
I was so freaking mad. I'm like, no, we're done. I cannot be with someone who is not mature enough to respect me. I mean, now my boyfriend and I have gotten into food fights.
But that's
different.
Mutual...
I wasn't in a brand new shirt.
That's a mutual consensual.
I knew it was coming. But yeah, I was so mad. Oh, and then I moved schools, and then I found the love of my life, and I'm still with him because I didn't focus on dating until grade 12, and I was on an online dating site called Plenty of Fish. It's Christian. I went to a Catholic school. It just made sense. And he was this nerdy kid, very nerdy, very baby face, and his profile picture was the tattoo on his shoulder, so you couldn't see it at school because it's under a shirt.
Yeah.
So I looked at it, and I'm like realizing who it was. We're in the same circles, didn't talk to each other, and my first words to him, kid you not, "You have a fluffing tattoo," and that's my I want to get that like quoted on my ring for my wedding or something. And that's how we started talking, and we first started hanging out together, played video games because he realized I played Call of Duty, and not a lot of girls did that in my school because prissy kids. But yeah, now we're together. We're 9 years together in April, and I'm so happy.
I met my husband at our young adults Bible study through a church. We met in 2019 briefly in the summertime at a park in the city. I vaguely remember it, but he remembers me bouncing up to him and saying and just introducing myself.
Aww.
And then we didn't really talk, and then I think it was around September 2021 where we were reintroduced to each other. We met up, and then we started talking more in October.
And if I'm not mistaken, he asked you to start dating in the same chair he proposed to you in, right?
Yes.
That is the cutest thing in the world, honest to God.
And he was really gentle about it because in November of that year, my aunt passed. So he had to be careful because he's interested in me, but I also just lost a family member.
You were very close
that I was
with.
Close to.
Yeah.
And I remember on the way back, I drove there with another aunt of mine. On the way back, we stopped at this gas station convenience store that also had kind of a gift shop attached to it. And I got one of those kind of keychain, it wasn't Swiss Army, but it was kind of like a little knife like that. Utility knife. And it has his name on it. And I got it for him. Like, thank you for just being understanding. This was before we were dating, by the way.
He is a very good guy. I love him so much for you.
And then in December, in the later part of December, just a couple days before Christmas, actually, he asked if I wanted to be like official.
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, we didn't. We were both very intentional about what we wanted, very upfront about it as well.
And that's why I didn't date in high school, because like me, I'm dating to marry.
Yeah.
I'm dating for life. I don't want to mess around with someone for a couple months and just have my heart break and waste my time.
Yeah. So
it's called being mature.
And then we got married in July.
You got engaged 6 months after you started dating?
9 months.
Sorry, my bad.
I picked out the ring.
Still makes me mad because like I'm 9 years in a freaking relationship. I have a ring on my finger, but it's a promise ring.
And then so we got married in July 2023, and then we find out that you were in the city.
Oh, we were at this milkshake place, and I was with my little brother, and he's like, "Hey, isn't that Turtle?" And I looked, and I'm like, "Oh, it is." She hadn't changed a day, had not aged since she was 13.
Okay, and I grew a little bit
out, and it took a couple months for us to actually reconnect and actually get talking to each other constantly.
Yeah.
and we've been inseparable ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I am so mad about the fact that I was in the city when I could have been like your maid of honor.
Mm-hmm. I wish.
And if you'd messaged me somehow and asked me, I would have flown out.
I know.
I would have flown across. I was going to go to Wales for a wedding. So there you go.
Goodness. I know. I wish you were. I wish I reached out.
But I don't regret it really, because like it would have happened anyway. I might have made your day a little bit better because I wouldn't have let some of the stuff happen.
Yeah.
But it, helped grow your relationship, I guess, into what it is.
Yeah.
And
but I'm happy you're here now.
I was gonna say, we see each other. If we don't see each other 3 times a week, something's wrong.
Yeah, one time we didn't see each other for 3 days.
It felt like a whole week had gone by.
And we're both talking on the phone, and we're like, it's been a week. And we look at the calendars, and we're like, oh, it's only been 3 days.
Yes, we're that kind of bestie. I hope people have this kind of relationship with people, because it comes once in a lifetime, and it's the best kind of relationship. But that's our story. Just a reminder, we have social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Turtle and the Bear, and all of our links will be on that Facebook page. We can obviously be on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're listening, we're there too. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.